podcast. This is Anas Al talking about the werewolf or Bisclavret. So before I start explaining the poem, I want just to tell you some information about the author of this work. The original, text was in French, and it's thought that the poet, who is Marie de France, her name, okay, she was a French poet, but she is a female poet, and it is unfamiliar thing to have a female poet at that time. That's why here she is saying that I shall name myself so that it will be remembered. See, Mary is my name, I am of France. It may be that many clerks will take my labor on themselves. I don't want any of them to claim it. So she is talking about authorship, and it seems like the first time, it's the first Middle English work I have read and in which they are talking about authorship, because it was not important before that time, and they didn't, because all the works were oral literature, and they didn't pay attention to they didn't pay attention to the authorship. So but here she is saying that I don't want other men to basically take my work. So she is a female poet from France, sorry, and her name is Mary, as she is saying here. So now I will read the poem. It is very interesting. Actually, here it's a translation in English, and it's so easy. That's why I won't read the story. I won't read the poem. I will just try to summarize it, and I will try to comment on some ideas that I have discovered. So if you can read French, I recommend you to read it in French, because you will feel more pleasure in reading, because it's more interesting and it's written in poetic form. But in English, no, it is just written like it's like poetry, but there is no such a great tone and pleasure in reading. But it's so easy, you can read it and you can understand it without me reading and explaining. So basically it starts here. Bisclavret, the werewolf. Okay, she is saying that since I have undertaken to compose lays, I don't want to forget Bisclavret. So she is a woman, she is a poet, and she is composing lays, and we know that lays is something from the Celtic tradition, that is the original people in Britain. Okay, they wrote some lays, and now she is talking about these lays, and she wants to compose lays, but she is saying that, well, I am writing lays, but I don't want to forget this important work that I am going to talk about now. So she is going to talk about the Bisclavret. Okay, Bisclavret works. So Bisclavret is the name in Britain. In Britain they say Bisclavret, but in France they say like here werewolf. Anyway, so basically in Britain there lived a baron, as they say. So there was a baron. He is a fighter, or he's a noble man, okay, near or close to the king. So this baron was so important man, and he was loyal to his king, right? And he was so beloved by his king and his people, and he had such a fair, beautiful wife. Okay, he was dear to his lord, and he had married a very worthy wife. So his wife was very beautiful, he loved her and she loved him, and he was also loyal and loved by his king. So everything was just okay in his life. But this wife was troubled by something, but she was greatly troubled by one thing. Each week she lost him. So the thing is, this wife is worried about something, and that thing is that baron, or that night, he goes, I won't call him knight, I will call him baron. Okay, that baron, a handsome man, he disappears for 3 days each week, and his wife is troubled by that. She loves him. She thinks that he is handsome, but she is troubled because he disappears. So one day she started to ask him about his disappearing. So she said, "Fair sweet beloved, like my husband, my beautiful, my handsome husband, I'm just summarizing, okay? I want to ask you about where do you go? I am really troubled by that, and I am afraid that we will lose each other. I don't want to lose you. I want you to stay close to me all the days of the week." So he didn't want to tell her because if she knows, maybe she will leave him, okay? But so she spoke with him with very sweet words, and she cajoled him. She used good words, and as a woman, she can't convince her husband by using these sweet words. So now he is convinced, and he tells her where he goes, and now we know that he becomes a werewolf. He has a dual nature, okay? He is a human, and he also changes his human form into a wolf, so he becomes a wolf. And at that time there were such stories of werewolves, so he said, "Lady, I become a werewolf." Okay, so I go into the great that great forest, okay, and he plunder and he hunt and he do terrible things there. So and she asked him, look, at as a wife. Now he told her that he is a werewolf, but then she asked him, "Do you go naked or not?" Like, as a wife, why did she ask her husband, "Do you go naked or not?" Because she has a doubt that he might be, I think that he might be cheating on her. Okay, like a husband disappears and he becomes a werewolf. And here we have the forest. As I say, the forest, it represents the uncivilized world. If he goes to the forest, he can do bad things, he can cheat, he can deceive, okay? But when he is at home, she loves him and she trusts him because he is at his refuge, at his home. So it is, you have to read between the lines in order to understand this. So he answered her, like she said, "Tell me by God where your clothes are." And because he told her that he goes quite naked. She asked about his clothes, and he said, "I can't tell you everything, but I can't tell you that thing." Okay, he can't tell her about his clothes, because if he loses his clothes, he won't be able to return to his human form anyway. Like, think about it. Why he can't he can't become a human after he loses his clothes? I don't think that the clothes is a secret of changing the form from werewolf, from a wolf to a human, but I think it is because if he comes naked, people will know that he is a cheater or he is a bad person. That's what I think. Okay, you can think as you want. Yes, so when he refused to tell her that he goes to tell her about his clothes, or where he puts his clothes, she started again to cajole him to speak with him, and she insisted so much on him. She told him that, "You are my beloved, I can't live without you, you are the best man in my life," and such words. Okay, so he told her, he said, "I put my clothes under the bush, okay, in a chapel, here, yes, under the bush, until I return home." So yes, so she was very terrified and she was afraid of that. So she decided that she can't live with him anymore. So she had an old lover who loved her. And here we have a sense of courtesy love or Arthurian love, okay? So she calls this old lover her knight. We know that knight is previously in courtesy love. They love a woman and they dedicate their lives to this woman, but there is no sexual expectations. They don't have any bodily pleasure or even, good words from this woman. But this time she calls on this on her knight, the one who loved her previously. So she had never loved him. I mean, this knight, her old lover, all promised her her love to him. Okay, so now she calls him and she granted him her love. Okay, I grant you my love and my body. This time also her body. It can't happen in courtesy love. There is no bodily things. But this time she decided to marry him because she can't live with her old husband, with the Baron. Okay, after she discovered that he becomes a wolf, became so afraid of him. Okay, so thing is, and after that she called this knight, her previous lover, and she got married with him, and she asked him to take the clothes of the werewolf, so of the Baron, I mean of the Baron, her husband. So he went, but he could not come again to his home. Okay, so he remained in the forest as a wolf, and he could not become a human anymore. Okay, and this woman got married with this knight, with her old lover, and now they are having good life together. But as a student, I want you to think, like, why did she got married immediately after she abandoned her old husband, the Baron? I think as a medieval woman, she has no occupation, so in order to survive, she has to get married. Okay, like, because as a woman, in order to have a safer life, better life, and in order to be able to survive, she has to get married. Okay, because marriage will make her life easier. So things remained this way for a whole year until the king went hunting. We say that the king loves this Baron so much, this wife's old husband. Okay, but things remained this way for a whole year. Then the king goes to hunting, and while he is hunting, he goes with his hounds, I mean with his dogs, hunting dogs, and he finds this wolf. But he did not know that this wolf is his Baron. Okay, so the dogs started to attack this wolf, and they nearly killed him. But the wolf comes to the king, and he started kissing the king's legs and beseeching him. So the king was very surprised that this wolf is so tamed, and he has manners, and he is such a wonder. Okay, wonder, because he has understanding. Okay, so the king decides that no hunting today anymore. Let's go back with this wolf. Okay, so the king brings the wolf with him to his palace. Okay, and this wolf lives peacefully with the king and with the other knights in the court. Okay, and they loved him so much, and he also loved them, and he did not harm any person. Okay, he did not harm anyone. So one time a king held a court. A king made a festival, and in this festival, or in this feast, comes a knight and all these men. So it happened that the knight who married the baron's wife also comes to the court. So the werewolf sees him, and he attacked him, and he grabbed him, and he nearly killed him. But the king cried or yelled to the wolf, and he asked him to calm down, so that the wolf did not kill this this knight who married his own wife after he was deceived by her. Okay, then in another day, this wife, so they were so surprised that why is this wolf attacking this man? There must something wrong. So the wise man, the wise man who are living in the court of the king, they say to the king, there must be something wrong. This man is the wife, is the husband of your barons, your beloved barons. Yeah, wife, and why he's attacking him, and he is being so peaceful and good with us. So in another day, this wife also, she comes to the court, and she was dressed becomingly. So the werewolf of Bisclavret, we call Bisclavret the werewolf, he sees her coming, and so no one could hold him back. He started attacking her, and he tore the nose from her face. Now she has no nose. So when a wise man said to the king, "Sire," he said, "listen to me, this beast has been living with you. There is now not one of us who has not watched it for a long time and often been near it." So they say that this wolf is so peaceful and is so good natured. Why does he attacks this knight and the baron's wife, and does not attack us? Okay, so they say that there must be something wrong. So they asked the king to bring the wife of his baron and torment her until she confess what happened to her previous husband. So he puts the lady under pressure, okay, and under torturing until she confesses that she deceived her husband, the werewolf. She took his clothes so he could not become a human anymore, and he is living in the forest. So they forced her to bring the clothes back to them, and the king gives the clothes to the werewolf, to Bisclavret. So Bisclavret refuses to wear the clothes in front of the people, because as the wise man said here, it is not a proper way to make him undress in front of us. And remember, before that time, at the very beginning, because he can't return to his human form, without his clothes, but he went to a chapel, a hollow chapel, and in this chapel he used to change his clothes. Okay, so now he refuses to change his clothes in front of the people of people. So he goes to the king's own room on his own bed, okay, as you see here, and he changes his clothes. So what does that mean? And more than 100, so after he comes, so he goes to the king's room and he changes his clothes, and then he becomes a human again. He returns to his human form as the baron who was loyal to his king and was beloved by his king and by his wife who deceived him. So the king exiles the wife from the country, as well as her knight, her beloved, her lover. Okay, so and then the king also lives peacefully with the werewolf. So but there is also a strange thing, that this woman, I mean the werewolf, you know that the werewolf or the wolf, he tore her nose, and after he tore her nose, she she was exiled with her knight, and when she born her offspring of female, her daughters were also born without a nose. Okay, they were born noseless. So we don't know. It's like original sin, or we don't know what is the idea here. But anyway, this is the end of the story. I will just try to explain some themes. I think that I have spoken with such an easy language, and you can take some notes, okay, while me recording this lecture. So again, there are some themes you have to understand. Clothes. What is the signification of clothes? Okay, with the clothes, and when a human is in his home, he is civilized and he is a good person. Okay, but nudity or being naked in the forest represents being bad and awful person or an evil person. So that's the representation, I think, or that is the idea, the theme, the meaning of the theme, being naked or being clothed, okay, with clothes. And also the nose, why her daughters were without nose. Maybe it's an original sin at that time. And some critics say that it's the dual nature. The dual nature is the werewolf, because he can changes his form from a human to a wolf. But I think that there is also some homosexual themes, like this wolf is not, this werewolf is not a human and wolf. I think he is homosexual person. He married, he has a wife who is a female, and he also has kind of love with his king, because he changed his clothes on the king's own bed. So that, this dual nature can be also a representation of being homosexual, or that this Paron, this werewolf, has a wife and has also a male and female relationships. Okay, so he is a husband to his own wife, and he is also a husband to his own king, as you see. Not as you see, it's just an idea. Okay, so, and also the idea of being naked and going naked at night, it is not really, I don't think that he goes naked because he will become a werewolf or a wolf. No, I think he goes naked, and at night it's like cheating. And if there are some women who are married and hear me explaining, if you are a woman and you have a husband, and your husband goes quite naked at night, what will you think? Probably you will think that he is cheating on you. Okay, and maybe this is the ideas here in this poem. Again, this poem is so easy, you can just read it and you can understand it. I just told some themes and some important ideas in this work, but I recommend you read it in English or in French if you can read French. It's so easy to understand. It's really interesting, and I have explained it on YouTube, because when I was a student I searched for it, but I couldn't find it on YouTube. That's why I'm explaining it on YouTube. So please, if you are interested in my videos, subscribe in my channel and like the videos, and see you in another works. Be blessed.